Hello everyone. This short film made by Jenny, Neris and Jay will explore the humanistic approach to counselling, a deeply compassionate and client-centred method that emphasises the intrinsic value of the individual. At the heart of this approach is Carl Rogers, one of the most influential figures in modern psychology, whose ideas about personal growth and self-actualisation transformed the way we think about therapy. We will also contrast his approach with more traditional, solution-focused models like cognitive behavioural therapy, CBT, psychoanalysis, and the medical model, highlighting how Rogers' vision was revolutionary. But first, let's look at theory and why it is important in counselling. Counselling theory is essential for professional development and effective practice, offering numerous benefits for both counsellor and client. Boy and Pine in 1983 identified 6 key ways theory supports the counsellor. First, theory helps find unity in diversity, enabling counsellors to appreciate both the differences and commonalities between themselves, their clients, and others. Second, it encourages a deeper examination of relationships and situations that might otherwise be overlooked. Third, theory provides a framework for ethical practice, guiding counsellors in making principled decisions. Fourth, it helps focus on relevant information, such as identifying a client's internal and external locus of control and conditions of worth. Fifth, theory aids counsellors in supporting clients to modify their behaviour through structured interventions. Finally, it helps evaluate both older and newer approaches in counselling, ensuring the practice remains dynamic and responsive to change. Theory also promotes consistency in approach, which can be beneficial for both the counsellor and client. By using a theoretical framework, the counsellor can maintain a clear, structured approach across sessions. This consistency is vital in establishing trust and creating a productive therapeutic relationship. Also, engaging with theory supports self-reflective practice and the maintenance of professional standards. By embedding practice with established theoretical models, counsellors reflect on their methods, ensuring they remain aligned with ethical guidelines and best practices. Applying theory in counselling can inform the counsellor's understanding of client issues and support them in grasping the presenting issues. For instance, cognitive behavioural therapy, or CBT, focuses on the relationship between thoughts and behaviours, while psychodynamic therapy explores unconscious processes rooted in early life experiences. This theoretical knowledge helps counsellors to better assess and understand a client's concerns, leading to them being able to consider effective ways in which they can meet each client's unique needs. Now we're going to focus in more detail on the theory of the humanistic approach to counselling. Carl Rogers was born in 1902 and became one of the leading figures in the field of psychotherapy in the 20th century. Before Rogers, therapy was predominantly dominated by the medical model, psychoanalysis, and behaviourist approaches that treated patients as passive beings who receive therapeutic interventions. The medical model in particular often viewed clients as having deficits or illnesses to be cured. Rogers, however, believed in the inherent worth and potential of every person. He argued that therapy should be a process that enables individuals to find their own solutions rather than having answers imposed upon them. His theory was radical because it turned the traditional therapy model upside down. Instead of a directive, authoritative therapist in charge, Rogers proposed a therapeutic relationship that was built on trust, empathy, and genuine understanding.
I want it to be caring, I want it to be real, I want it to be very sensitively understanding and empathic. I want to let my intuition free to flow through the relationship. I want to create a situation in which there can be a directional flow of growth on the part of the client, a place too where I can learn from my client. As far as the role of the client is concerned, that I don't see as a role or indeed as a function. I feel that the client comes with a need, and that need is what I want to respond to.
Core ideas of the humanistic approach. At the core of Rogers' humanistic approach to counselling is the belief that people have an inner tendency towards growth and self-actualization. This means that given the right environment, people have the capacity to understand themselves and make choices that lead to positive change. The therapist's role is not to provide solutions, but to create the conditions in which the client can explore their own feelings, experiences, and inner world. One of the most revolutionary aspects of the humanistic approach is to emphasize on the client-therapist relationship. Rogers believed that in order for the therapy to be effective, the relationship needed to be characterized by 3 core conditions. Number 1, unconditional positive regard, UPR. This means accepting and valuing the client without judgment. Regardless of what the client shares, the therapist creates a safe space where the client can feel truly heard and understood. Unconditional positive regard helps the client feel worthy, respected, which is crucial for the healing and personal growth. Research has supported this concept, with studies showing that therapists' UPR is strongly related to the positive therapeutic outcomes, including increased self-esteem and more adapting coping mechanisms. Number 2, empathy. The therapist must be able to deeply understand the client's feelings and perspectives to the point of feeling with the client. This empathetic understanding helps the client feel less alone in their struggles, and it opens the door for deeper self-exploration. Empathy is considered one of the most robust predictors of the therapeutic success. Studies have shown that the clients who think of their therapist as empathetic experiences better outcomes, including a greater sense of emotional relief and self-awareness. Number 3, congruence. Congruence refers to the therapist being authentic and transparent without putting up a facade. The therapist must be genuine and not hide behind a professional mask. This authenticity fosters trust in the therapeutic relationship and encourages the client to be more authentic as well. Research has indicated that congruence in the therapist is associated with improved therapeutic alliance and is higher levels of client satisfaction. These 3 conditions set Rogers' model apart from more structured, solution-focused therapies such as CBT and psychoanalysis, which rely more on techniques or interventions that the therapist apply to the client. Core skills in humanistic counselling. In humanistic counselling, the therapist uses several techniques to facilitate self-discovery. Paraphrasing and summarizing, and silence and mirroring are all key skills that help clients reflect on their own words and explore their deeper emotions and thoughts. Paraphrasing. This involves restarting what the client has said in a way that clarifies or reflects on the content back to them. For example, if a client says, "I feel like no one understands me," the therapist might respond, "It sounds like you're feeling isolated and misunderstood." This allows the client to hear their own thoughts and feelings, which can provide a new insight. Summarizing. This is a technique that brings together various elements of what the client has said, allowing them to see the bigger picture. For example, "So you've mentioned feeling overwhelmed at work and at home, and you're unsure of how to manage everything." This helps the client organize their thoughts and gain clarity. Silence. Humanistic counsellors use the skill of silence to create a safe, non-judgmental space where clients can explore their own thoughts and emotions without pressure. This allows clients to process their feelings at their own pace, enhancing the self-awareness and personal insight. By maintaining silence, counsellors empower clients to find their own voice, leading to greater autonomy in decision-making and self-discovery. Mirroring the body language and gestures of the client can help to establish rapport and recreate a sense of connection. Helping clients feel understood by subtly reflecting the client's posture or movements, therapists convey empathy and attentiveness, which encourages the clients to feel more at ease. This non-verbal communication reinforces the therapeutic relationship, making the client feel truly heard and supported in the session. Through these techniques, clients can begin to distinguish between their authentic feelings and the conditions of worth they have internalized from others, such as family expectations, socializing, or past experiences. They may begin to recognize how they've shaped their identity based on others' approval or disapproval, and this awareness is the first step towards healing and growth.
The importance of personal worth. The humanistic approach places the personal worth of the individual at the heart of therapy. Rogers argued that people are not defined by their mistakes or past failures, but by their potential for growth and change. This perspective is radically different from other models, which might focus on diagnosing or labelling the client based on symptoms. Rogers believed that when people are provided with an environment of acceptance, empathy, and authenticity, they can begin to recognise and align with their true selves. This leads to greater self-acceptance, a stronger sense of identity, and a deeper connection to their own personal values. The role of client's agency. One of the most powerful aspects of the humanistic approach is its emphasis on client agency. The idea that the client is the expert in their own life. This view contrasts with the more directive therapies, where the therapist often sets the agenda. Rogers saw the therapeutic relationship as a partnership in which the therapist creates a safe and supportive environment, but it is the client who holds the power to shape their own journey. Therapists must consider the agency of the client and honour their autonomy by not imposing solutions or judgments. The humanistic approach trusts that, given the right conditions, the client can discover their own path forward. This is crucial for fostering self-confidence and empowering clients to make decisions that align with their true desires and values. When comparing Rogers' humanist approach to cognitive behavioural therapy or psychoanalysis, it's clear that Rogers focuses more on the process of therapy and the therapeutic relationship, while models like CBT are more structured and goal-orientated. CBT, for example, emphasises changing thoughts and behaviours based on the therapist's guidance. It's solution-focused and often has a set agenda and specific goals. In contrast, Rogers' approach is non-directive, meaning that the therapist does not tell the client what to do or how to think. Instead, the therapist's role is to provide the environment where the client can explore their feelings and come to their own conclusions. This approach respects the agency of the client, something that's central to humanistic therapy. Similarly, psychoanalysis is often focused on uncovering unconscious desires and past conflicts through interpretation. While this can be useful or helpful for some, it tends to place the therapist in a position of power, interpreting the client's experiences and assigning meaning. By contrast, Rogers saw the client as the expert in the room, the one who knows their own experiences and inner world better than anyone else. The therapist's role is not to interpret or diagnose, but to facilitate the client's own understanding. The medical model also typically treats mental health as a condition to be diagnosed and treated with interventions such as medication. Rogers challenged this view by rejecting the idea that clients were sick or in need of curing. Instead, he emphasised that individuals are whole beings capable of growth, and therapy should empower them to live fully and authentically.
In summary, Carl Rogers' humanistic approach to counselling offers a refreshing perspective that focuses on the inherent worth of the individual, the importance of a trusting therapeutic relationship, and the empowerment of the client. By focusing on empathy, unconditional positive regard and congruence, Rogers' approach stands in stark contrast to more directive and solution-focused models of therapy like CBT, psychoanalysis, and the medical model. This approach offers a different language for understanding the self, helping clients reflect on their experiences, recognise their authenticity, and ultimately grow into their true potential. It is grounded in the belief that the client, not the therapist, is the expert, and that by creating an environment of acceptance and understanding, clients can begin to heal and flourish. Thank you for your attention. I hope this has provided a clearer understanding of the humanistic approach and its enduring value in the field of counselling.